So I'm 29 years old, and although by society standards, I've done pretty well with my life, owning multiple properties, net worth wise, making multiple six figures a year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I personally feel like I could have done a whole lot better had I maximized my early 20s. And I know you always hear people saying, like, I don't regret anything because everything that I've done has led me to exactly where I'm at. Well, my take on that is that's complete bullshit, and this is what I would change. All right, so getting right into it, 5 things I wish I knew when I was 20. The first thing that I wish I knew was to just cut out the partying, the drinking, the drugs, the vices, and all that other stuff. Listen, this stuff is great to experience, and I will always cherish the memories that I made with my friends during those times. However, I spent way more time doing this than what was necessary. Having an experience is awesome because typically, whether the experience was good or bad, we tend to learn things from those experiences and then grow as a person. The issue with this is how repetitive it became in my life. At a certain period, or a certain time, I guess I should say, or a certain point, I stopped experiencing new things. It was basically just the same thing over and over again. Go to some pub, get smashed, go back to somebody's house, continue to get smashed, go to some concert here, go to some festival here, go to my friend's house, get smashed. It was like, it is basically just the same like 5 or 6 experiences just being experienced over and over again. And therefore, I kind of just stopped learning, and all of that time could have been spent doing other things that would have, had new experiences with them that would have actually grown me as a person. Now, this part of my life got stopped short at about 25, pretty much right after I turned 25, but honestly, it probably could have been stopped when I was 22 or 23. I feel like those last 2 or 3 years, I was just kind of repeating the same night over and over and over again just because it was fun and it was pleasurable, but at the end of the day, all that time that I spent doing that didn't really teach me very much. So I would say, sure, go and experience that. But the second that it starts to become repetitive and you're not really experiencing new things, cut it out, move on. And the next thing that I wish I knew is I wish I would have had spent more time and focus on my body. Now, again, I'd say comparatively to the rest of society, I'm probably in pretty decent shape. However, I feel like I really didn't max out those prime years of bodybuilding or building your body. There's a study done out there that people will put on the most muscle in their life that they've ever put on, and it's also the easiest to put on muscle within the first 2 years that you start consistently and seriously working out. You could probably put on about 30 pounds in those first 2 years, and then after that it goes down to about 3 to 5 pounds a year. And I screwed around a lot in my early 20s. I wasn't consistent, I took stupid pills and took them improperly and just did dumb stuff like that and just tried to take shortcuts. So if I could go back, I would have taken that shit a lot more seriously. I've only just recently now started counting macros for the first time in my entire life, and I've been working out since I was like 15 years old, but you can't really consistently and guaranteed gain muscle without macros, because you need to know how much protein you're taking in every single day, and that's the one macronutrient that pretty much everybody undereats is protein. And I would have stayed off PEDs, and I would have just, I would have had a longer term mindset instead of a short term, right? When you're taking PEDs, not everybody, some people need to take them because they're at their genetic limit, but for the majority of people, they're taking PEDs and it's coming from a short term mindset of, I just want to get as jacked as possible, as quickly as possible. And if you're just consistent for the long term, you're not going to gain every week, you may not gain every month, but over the long term, you will slowly gain muscle. And I needed to adopt the mindset that it's a lifestyle, not just something I'm doing to look dope. And during my early 20s, I was just constantly on these yo-yo diets where, when I was trying to gain muscle, because I wasn't counting macros, I'd overeat, I'd get super fat and feel like shit within the first 2-3 months of being on a bulk. Then I would have to cut. Then I would cut way too much and lose more than all the gains that I put on and lose muscle and fat. And then I'd be way too skinny, feel lethargic, feel like crap. Then I'd go back on the bulk, and then it's like you're never really consistently gaining muscle because you're gaining a little bit of muscle, all this fat, then you're losing the muscle you gained and all the fat, then you're gaining a little bit, and you're just going up and down, but never really getting anywhere. And that's why you should probably follow your macros and have a long-term outlook when it comes to building your body. And that's something that I wish I knew a lot earlier. Third thing I tell myself is to be more aggressive and take more risks. In my early 20s, I was operating out of such a scarcity mindset. I would save all my money, lived very frugally, etc., etc. And although, again, this did help me to get to where I'm at now, I bet had I played it a lot more aggressively, I would have learned a lot faster and been a lot further ahead than where I'm at right now. Because the reality is like the money that you make in your early 20s, as long as it's being invested somewhere useful. Some people say, put it in the stock market so it compounds, whatever. That's awesome too. However, if you put it into yourself, the knowledge that you gain in your early 20s, you can compound for the rest of your life onto other knowledge and other skills that you have. And the reality of it is you could be broke as hell your entire life until you're 40 years old and then make $3 or $4 million in 1 year and be, levels ahead of 99% of the population. And you have so much time in your life to recover any losses that you would suffer, right? So I would have taken bigger risks on the investing side, and I would have taken bigger risks on the investing in myself or opening a business side of things. And Alex Hormozi says, in life, there's earning seasons and learning seasons, and your 20s, basically all of your 20s is the learning season. So don't try to cut the learning season short, which is essentially what I did, right? When I maxed out at basically $100,000 a year as a plumber when I was 23 years old, I should have then made taken a back step and started a business or something to the likes of that, when instead I thought, I'm making sick money if I just do this and invest like this for the rest of my life. And I tried to basically be in the earning season when I was supposed to be in the learning season. Therefore, I spent 2 years making, or 3 years making that $100,000 a year, when I should have taken a back step to go into a business to keep learning during my 20s. Because again, the knowledge you learn, the sooner you learn it, the longer time period you have for that knowledge to compound onto other things that you learn. So play bigger, quit your job, invest in business, do all of the shit that you're scared of doing, because you have the rest of your life to recover from a potential loss. And we learn from our losses anyways. We don't learn from our wins. And the next thing I'd say, further to point number 2, I guess, would be to invest in myself. I would have hired way more coaches in my 20s, which is only something I've started doing in the last 2 years, but now I've realized how beneficial it has been to my life, and I should have been doing it the entire time. Today, I pretty much always have a coach, and they're always different coaches. Like whenever I want to learn something, if I wanted to learn more about fitness, I'm gonna hire a fitness coach. If I want to learn more about Facebook ads, I'm gonna hire a Facebook ads coach. Right now, I have a YouTube coach. And I've had TikTok coaches and all these coaches, right? If anytime you want to learn something, just pay somebody $1,000 to teach it to you in like 5 Zoom calls, done. I think it's more than worth it to pay a couple grand to somebody who has been where you are now and is where you want to go. Because again, that knowledge that you learn is going to compound onto the other knowledge that you're learning, and then other skills that you acquire will compound on top of other skills that you have. So again, focusing on the learning season of your life, it is probably more beneficial that you in your early 20s put that investment towards yourself and building more knowledge. And the number one thing I would do further, or I wish I did further to point number whatever about my body, is I would just think more long term. When you're young, you're very short-sighted. A year is a long time. 2 years is a very long time, and 3 years is so far away you can't even picture it. But once you get into the latter half of your 20s, you start to see how quickly time goes by. And you realize that no matter what you do in life, the time is gonna pass anyways. So you might as well do the things that are going to incrementally move you forward in life as the time is going to pass regardless. Like I said, at this point in my life, I had thought that there was a shortcut to basically everything. There was some type of hack to get rich. There was a pill that would, gain me 20 pounds and I would keep everything overnight. And as you get older, you realize that anybody who's successful in anything has gone through a long, grueling gauntlet of trials and tribulations to get where they are. In life, to get to the next level, there will always be a series of tests that you have to pass before you are allowed to be at that next level. And this is how the universe just naturally weeds out the people from, or I guess weeds out everybody from seeing massive success, because not everybody can be a massive success. It just doesn't work like that. And today I've realized that success is a long, boring, monotonous thing where you do the small, boring things every single day for a very long time, whether you feel like it or not. And that's essentially what YouTube is. Like, that's what I'm doing on this channel now, is I'm just gonna post a couple videos a week, regardless of what the result of me posting these videos are, for as long as it takes until this channel is successful. But hey, the time's gonna pass anyways. So yeah, it's hard and it's boring and it sucks, but after a year passes, do you not want to be in a much better place than where you're at right now? If yes, then you might as well do all those boring small tasks anyways from now until then. And once you get past 25 years old, you'll realize that a year flies by just like that. And suddenly you're going to be a year older and you better not be in the same place that you're in right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please do subscribe to the channel. And hey, if you like this video, you'll definitely like this one that I put out on how to unfuck your life. Make sure you watch that one. Appreciate you guys. See you on the next video. Peace.